Quadeca is my favorite artist of all time, and honestly, it's not even close. So today, I wanted to go through every Quadeca album and rank them from worst to best, in my personal opinion. Okay, this is my personal opinion. If you don't agree, that's fair. You know what? That's fair. I don't mind if you don't agree. Don't be mad at me for putting your favorite album last, okay? Now, Quadeca has a lot of albums, if you include his ones from his Quadeca archive page. Albums like Out of Order, Work in Progress, etc. You know what I'm talking about. We're just gonna kind of graze over those because, that's not why y'all are here, okay? We're here from the voice memos onwards kind of era. So let's get started. In last place, I have One Day. This album was made in one day. It made for a great nostalgic YouTube video though. Work in Progress is a great title because yeah, he needs some work. Daydreams is alright, and Music Fire is obviously a hood classic within the lore, but yeah, not a very good album. Bad Internet Rapper was a fitting title at the time. Okay, I'm sorry, Ben. You know I love you, but unironically, Lemon Tree is pretty decent. Tropical Bars, Epidemic, they're okay. They're not good per se, but they're the best listens on this project. Nostalgia for the Now. It feels a little more consistent than the other projects below it. I really do enjoy Share quite a bit. It just falls in line with all these other albums being mostly bad. Out of Order actually has some fire within it, okay? Migraine Venting, I don't give a is hilarious, and there was a time in my life where a 13-year-old me thought that I Don't Want to Speak Again was low-key the most goated song of all time. Brought a tear to my eye. It was much better than his previous work, but to say it's good would be kind of a lie. And here, we finally get to an album that I have more to say about, starting with a classic. His first that kinda had some eyeballs on it, Voice Memos. Man, the day this dropped, I remember I thought this was the greatest album ever. To be fair, my playlist was low-key looking like this during those days. I'd say 60% of the songs on this album are at least listenable. Not per se good, but they are definitely on par with some other big artists even these days. Pun. This is where Quadeca was fully in his YouTube rapper persona, and I wanted to flex that. Ego Death is actually a good listen. A Dream I Can't Remember shows flashes of what Quadeca does today, although miles away from how polished it is now. The Man on My Left Shoulder is still in my rotation, actually shows moments of great writing, unique ideas, switch-ups. Eyes is beautiful. These Days is a hood classic. I'd say this is a very mid project, but for the time it was a ton of fun, and looking back on it, it isn't the worst thing ever. I can put voice memos on, get crazy nostalgia, and have a good enough time with it. Next up in fourth place, I went with From Me to You. Yeah, this is just a crazy step up from Voice Memos. This album has so much nostalgia for me, which is crazy because it's not even that old, just different times. The aesthetic of this era was insane, and this was a transitional period for Quadeca. Every song on here is a step up from Voice Memos, but you can still hear some of that kid within these tracks. Although it's an impressive album with great songs, feels like a little immature at times, has some questionable lyrics at moments, the track list is a little bloated, and some songs ultimately could have been left off or switched for some of the songs later released on the deluxe. Sisyphus is still one of his best songs. I definitely think that song has staying power. It was his first song that people truly gave him flowers for. Candles on Fire is incredible. Shades of Us is fun. Can't You See feels like something he could make today. Maybe Another Day is phenomenal. It's All a Game is great. Summit, there's so many good songs, and there's so many good areas to this album, but it does lack in others. The theme of this album is amazing. The story of climbing up this mountain, fighting to get uphill and reach the ultimate goal of reaching the top, to look down at all your progress. It's such a beautiful metaphor, and the visuals were so good. This album is quite good, but next is where he really took a large leap. Okay, before I name what I have in third place, please just hear me out, and don't hate. I feel like everyone I talk to about this project either thinks it's his best, or has it under something like From Me to You, but I went with Scrapyard. Yes, Scrapyard is undeniably the easiest project to just play on and vibe. Yes, it's not like a complete story, it's just fun, incredible music. I actually can't believe this is one spot ahead of For Me to You, as this album and the ones ahead of it are just so much better than it, and I praise For Me to You. This album has no weak points, but neither do 2 and 1. Scrapyard has everything. Beautiful instrumentals, hard-hitting bangers, great production and features, unique sounds, heartbreaking tracks, and ones that'll make you hit the gym and you're built like this. I'd name some of the best songs on here, but it's really just the entire track list. I will say Texas Blue, Pretty Privilege, and Even If I Tried are my super standouts personally. You have weird experimental emotional songs like Being Yourself or You Tried That Thing Where You're Human. Beautiful features from Break-Ins. Please come back, Break-Ins, please. I'm begging you. Everyone's coming back in 2026. I need you so bad. And Kevin Abstract. The reason I have it at 3 is because I'm a true sucker for these stories within an album. These 2 concept albums he's dropped just do something extra for me and my soul, but Scrapyard is still truly elite. I'd give this album like a 9.5 out of 10. That's how good they are. Okay, now before I even name number 2, this is more so 1B. This album is about on the same level as the one ahead of it, quote unquote, but I have to have a list. Even though that feels like a cheap way of saying they're both my favorite, I will tell you, even though one of these albums are on the same level for me, I do have a personal favorite that I like more than the other, if that makes any sense. I went with, at number 2, I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. Man, this is one of my favorite albums of all time. The leap he took from Me to You to I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is actually incredible, doesn't even feel real. This album, this era had something special to it. The eeriness of this Haunt You aesthetic, the way the music and soundscapes were made, the outfit, the music videos, the use of a tape recorder, my god. The first time I heard Born Yesterday, I just remember crying and not even knowing why per se. I was so blown away, and it was such a transitional period that I had to re-listen to this album like 5 times to fully understand what was happening, to grasp the story. The fact this was so much more than music. I remember enjoying this album, but not getting it. And when I finally did get it, it was like hearing it for the first time all over again. This was an album that changed perspectives for me, made me really ruminate over things, really fall in love with music, not just the artists I've been listening to forever, but exploring and finding love for all sorts of art. Fractions of Infinity, Born Yesterday, Fantasy World, House Settling are my favorite tracks on here. Something like Knots had me running around my room trying to comprehend what I heard. This was such a bold leap for Quadeca. I love this album to death. Get it? This album changed mine and many others' lives, and the rollout to this was so fun as well. This album really had no rules. That is where it could be so unique, sound a certain way, break boundaries, and the way it did. I never think I will see something like I Didn't Mean to Haunt You ever again. And that means my number 1 is Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Now when I said I Didn't Mean to Haunt You had no rules, it felt like Vanisher followed that while adapting its own sound. It begins as this super beautiful, well-orchestrated album, and begins to get a little more chaotic and messy as you go down the track list. I think it does more musically than I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, not in terms of just like ambience or world building, but musically, instrumentally, with all sorts of physical instruments. Super unique production, random switch-ups, incredible features from Maruja and Danny Brown, his best song he's ever made in Foregone, and a song like Casper actually being the most mind-blowing experience I've ever had listening to music. This album holds a very special place in my heart, as I was lucky enough to attend the early premiere in LA, talk to Ben about it, get him to draw me a tattoo representing it, going to 5 shows of the Vanisher tour. I really got to experience Vanisher in a way many others didn't, and I'm beyond thankful for that. This album just does a lot for me, and even though I hate the sea, it somehow felt very relatable, and you could understand it, lyrically and musically as a whole. I do think an album like I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is more relatable, easier to attach to, more groundbreaking in its concept. I think Vanisher is almost more unique, and that might be why it isn't as easy to relate to. There's not a single weak spot in this album. It is musically his best, vocally his best, his writing is incredible, and the reward and payoff of getting through this entire album's tracklist is so worth it. This is my favorite Quadeca album, and my favorite album of all time, period. So that is how I would rank every Quadeca album. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What's your favorite album? What's your least favorite album? Name some of your favorite songs. Start a discussion in the comments below. If you're new around here, leave a like on this video, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.